From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, President Bola Tinubu tells Nigerians that yesterday's pains are giving way to relief as the nation celebrates 65 years of independence. Governors across the country mark Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary with messages of hope and unity. Experts and policymakers convene in Lagos for another edition of the platform centered on the theme of rebuilding the nation. And the U.S. government shuts down as Republican and Democratic lawmakers fail to break a budget deadlock.
And on business, Nigeria's current account surplus rises to $5.2 billion in the second quarter of 2025.
On sports news tonight, Emma Navarro stunts world number 2 Iga Swiatek in Beijing to reach her first WTA 1000 quarterfinal of the season.
And from the nation's capital, Pengaston suspends its nationwide strike against Dangote refinery following the intervention of the federal government.
The worst is over and the country's economy has finally turned the corner. That's according to President Bola Tinubu in his independence message to the nation. According to the president, his administration has achieved 12 remarkable economic milestones and remains on course to delivering the dividends of democracy to Nigerians. Our State House correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports.
Today marks the 65th anniversary.
It's the third time since 2023 that President Bola Tinubu will address the nation on the occasion of Independence Day. And it begins by saluting Nigerians, acknowledging the sacrifices of those who fought for the country's freedom.
Let us remember that their sacrifice, devotion, and grand dream of a strong, prosperous, and united Nigeria that will lead Africa and be the beacon of light to the rest of the world.
Nigeria's 65 years of nationhood is a tale of mixed feelings, of failures and of successes. But the president believes the country has not been stagnant, as he gives a scorecard of his stewardship of 28 months and 4 days of steering the ship of Nigeria.
Our administration has redirected the economy towards a more inclusive path, channeling money to fund education, healthcare, national security, agriculture, and political economic infrastructure, such as roads, power, broadband, and social investment programs. Our administration is setting things right now. I'm pleased to report that we have finally turned the corner. The worst is over, I say.
The removal of subsidy and floating of Naira, as well as unification of exchange rates, are policies of the Tinubu administration which have come under criticism because of their impact on the livelihood of Nigerians. But the president says through the implementation of those policies, 12 economic milestones have been achieved. Among them are increase in non-oil revenue, reduction of debt service to revenue ratio, stronger foreign reserves, and improved tax to GDP ratio. Also, the recent report by the National Bureau of Statistics shows Nigeria's GDP as of the second quarter of 2025 grew by 4.23% and inflation declined to 20.12% in August of the same year.
Nigeria's trade surplus increased by 44.3% in the second quarter of year 2025 to 1.46 trillion. Our oil production rebounded to 1.68 million barrels per day from barely 1 million in May 2023. Under the Social Investment Program, to support poor households and vulnerable Nigerians, 330 billion has been disbursed to 8 million households.
He also clears the air on the new tax policy.
The tax law is not about increasing the burden on existing taxpayers, but about expanding the base to build the Nigeria we deserve and providing tax relief to low-income earners.
On security and youth empowerment, the president says he is on course.
Peace has returned to 100 of our liberated communities in the Northwest and Northeast, and thousands of our people have returned safely to their homes. We created NEL Fund to support students with loans for their educational pursuits. Approximately 510,000 students across 36 states of the Federation, including FCT, have benefited from this initiative, covering 228 higher institutions. As of September 10, the total loan disbursed was 99.5 billion, while the upkeep allowance stood as 44.7 billion.
President Tinubu concludes his address by calling for patience and faith, cooperation and collective efforts by all Nigerians, assuring that the dawn of a new, prosperous, self-reliant Nigeria is here. Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
In the northern region of the country, the 65th independence anniversary was marked with little fanfare, as celebrations were minimal across most states, except in Adamawa and Kano. The governor of Adamawa State stressed that independence holds true meaning only when freedom translates into development, adherence to the rule of law, inclusive governance, and peaceful coexistence. Meanwhile, the Kano State governor used the occasion to renew calls for a restructuring of the state police hierarchy.
Like the Federal Capital Territory, the rest of northern Nigeria was unusually quiet as the country marked 65 years of independence. However, in Adamawa State, the usual military parade was observed, with Governor Umar Fintiri leading the celebration. Upon his arrival at the venue, he proceeded to inspect the parade by the police and various paramilitary agencies. In his address, Governor Fintiri commends the people of the state for their resilience and support, promising to continue to focus on improving their lives.
I'm pleased to announce that 12,000 qualified candidates are currently undergoing processes for recruitment into the Adamawa State Civil Service. This includes 5,000 positions in MDAs, 5,000 in post-primary education, and 2,000 in the healthcare sector. This is not just a job drive. It is an investment in the efficiency, public service, and the future of our youth. Moreover, our focus on economic reform and transparency has borne fruits.
Meanwhile, in Kano State, while addressing a crowd at the Sani Abacha Stadium, Governor Abba Yusuf seized the moment to appeal to President Bola Tinubu to relieve the State Commissioner of Police of his duties over alleged incompetence.
A so-called cheap security of the police force here in Kano, disappointing the Kano people. On the last minute, withdrawing all the police personnel. This is unethical. This is unprofessional. This is disservice to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I therefore wish to seize this opportunity to call on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR. We know he's a thorough man. We know he's a no-nonsense man. I am saying this. We call respectfully on him to remove the Commissioner of Police from Kano State today.
Channels Television observed that the police was not present for the Independence Day parade in Kano State. In Benue State, Governor Hyacinth Alia delivered a state broadcast to the people of the state, urging the people to continue to support his administration and the reform agenda of President Bola Tinubu.
Fellow citizens, let us renew our commitment to unity. One people, one purpose, one destiny. In the face of hardship, let us keep hope alive. In our diversity, let us find strength. In our challenges, let us find opportunity.
While President Bola Tinubu had declared a low-key celebration in the Federal Capital Territory, it would seem that most state governors in northern Nigeria bought into the idea and replicated same in their states.
Staying with the Independence Day celebrations and in the nation's commercial capital, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reassured Lagos residents of his administration's commitment to implementing policies that will improve their quality of life. Speaking at the 65th Independence Day Parade, the governor urged citizens to use social media responsibly and to collaborate with government in achieving collective goals for the benefit of all.
Despite the traditional venue change, the spirit of Nigerian independence soared. The anniversary parade unfolded with vibrant color at the Lagos House Marina, featuring a crisp ceremonial march past by the Nigerian police force. Lagos State stepped up as one of the few states to host the celebratory parade this year, particularly notable after the Federal Capital Territory's decision to cancel its own 2025 event. The grounds were graced by an array of dignitaries led by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and his deputy Kadri Hamzat. They were joined by public office holders, military and paramilitary top brass, members of the diplomatic corps, and revered traditional rulers. The air was a sea of patriotism, with many attendees proudly dressed in the national colors, green, white, green. Following the formal march, Governor Sanwo-Olu addressed the gathering. He used the platform to detail the initiatives implemented by his administration, specifically aimed at easing the current economic hardship faced by citizens.
Through our various 37 skill acquisition centers, continue to give thousands and thousands the tools to earn a living and to support their families.
The governor's message was a powerful call for solidarity, stressing that all Nigerians must unite to build a better country for everyone.
We believe we must rise above the temptation to ever sow division or spread hate among ourselves, especially on the channel of social media spaces. We believe it should be positive platforms where we truly engage government, where we push the real verticals of development, when we enshrine that our democracy is working for everyone. And so the task before us is for us to build, not to tear down. It's for us to unite, not to divide. And it's for us to inspire, not to despair. We believe that this country is great. We believe that this country has the potential. We believe that when we all work together, the full potential of this country is realizable.
As the 65th Independence Parade concluded, the Lagos State government left citizens with a profound message, one of unity, peaceful coexistence, and the resilient spirit required to overcome today's economic challenges, affirming the enduring hope that Nigeria will achieve true greatness.
And we'll have more on Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary in other parts of the country. In part two, after the break, 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi laments leadership failures in Nigeria 65 years after independence. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 live on Channels Television, Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu tells Nigerians that yesterday's pains are giving way to relief as the nation celebrates 65 years of independence. Governors across the country mark Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary with messages of hope and unity. Experts and policymakers convene in Lagos for another edition of the platform centered on the theme of rebuilding the nation. And the U.S. government shuts down as Republican and Democratic lawmakers fail to break a budget deadlock. Still on Nigeria's 65th independence, similar sentiments echoed in other parts across the southern states, with governors calling for hope and unity to make the country a better place. Now, the governors of Anambra, Edo, Ogun, and the deputy governor of Delta State resounded the call for stronger synergy between government and the private sector.
In the southern part of the country, state governors and other prominent individuals are speaking up on viable, long-lasting solutions to issues bedeviling the country. In the Gateway State, Governor Dapo Abiodun joined residents and dignitaries to celebrate the day with a message of hope for a brighter future.
Through our shared development mantra, infrastructure, social well-being and welfare, education, youth empowerment and agriculture, we continue to align with the Renewed Hope agenda to ensure that Ogun remains a beacon of industrial growth, cultural pride, and human capital development.
In Anambra State, the Dr. Alex Ekweme Square, Oka, comes alive with a march past by officers of the Anambra State Police Command. The state governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, inspects the guard of honor mounted for him. The governor describes the Independence Day celebration as a time to look forward with hope and not despair.
Let us resolve to carry forward the dream of our heroes past. That dream lives in the energy of our youth, the wisdom of our elders, and the faith of a people destined for greatness. My message is very simple. Let us believe in Nigeria again, because Nigeria is destined for greatness.
In Edo State, Governor Monday Opeholo is urging the citizens to embrace unity, teamwork, and renewed hope. He says the day is a reminder of the sacrifices of the nation's founding fathers and a call to rebuild both the country and the states.
We must always remind ourselves that we can achieve more if we come together as Edo people.
Across the River Niger, the Delta State governor, represented by his deputy, Sir Monday Oyeme, called on Nigerians to embrace unity, peace, and hard work, while avoiding actions that divide the nation.
As we renew our commitment to the values of unity, peace, and progress, I also thank every Deltans, both at home and abroad, for standing with this administration. Your support remains the strength behind our progress.
As Nigerians celebrate the nation at 65, the call for proper restructuring and ample citizens' welfare remains a top concern for many, as hopes are that the country is on a path to prosperity.
More on Nigeria's 65th National Day anniversary, and the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, has accused the APC-led government of dismantling what was once a nation full of promise at independence. Delivering a State of the Nation address in Abuja, Mr. Obi claimed that the current administration's policies have pushed more than 15 million Nigerians below the poverty line in just its first year, while continuing to enforce what he described as a brutal tax regime.
This government borrows recklessly, not for investment in productive infrastructure, but for wasteful consumption. Insecurity has further crippled our economy. Nigerians now live in fear of traveling by road. Kidnapping has become rampant, with billions paid as ransom. Incompetence in security management has turned our country into one of the most terrorized and unsafe nations in the world. Cronyism, corruption, and disregard for rule of law have scared away investors, while other African countries have overtaken us as preferred investment destinations. Despite this mismanagement, Nigeria's potential for greatness remains. We cannot give up on the dream of a prosperous and secure nation. What we need now is competent, compassionate, and committed leadership. Our primary priority must be prudent economic management, investment in human capital, rule of law, and infrastructure development.
Let's now head to the nation's capital, and Victoria Long John is standing by to give us the latest from our Abuja studios. Happy Independence, Victoria. Over to you.
Many thanks, Ayo. We continue here with some good news, as the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSN, has announced the suspension of its strike, despite expressing dissatisfaction with parts of the resolutions reached during a meeting with the National Security Advisor. The association's president, Mr. Festus Osifo, disclosed the decision at a news conference in Abuja, explaining that although some grey areas remain, the suspension was taken in good faith. He, however, cautioned that PENGASSN will resume the strike without prior notice if the management of Dangote Refinery fails to honor the agreement reached.
Yes, today, we know, or we believe, or we suspect that some of the things that the government has asked Dangote to do, that he's going to slip in it, because he did it to Nupeng. We have our suspicion. We truly don't believe that he will keep to his own side of the bargain. We truly don't believe that he will live up to expectation. We don't believe. But because we have respect for institutions, because we have respect for government, because we have respect for processes and we have respect for procedures, and because for those in government who sat up till almost 4 a.m. this morning to try and resolve this subject, the NEC has decided to listen to them. Even with the shortcomings in the document, the NEC of PENGASSN has decided that we will go ahead to suspend the industrial action that we started on Sunday, 28th day of September 2025. Any part of this agreement or any part of this communique as put up by the Ministry of Labour that is broken, we will not give any notice. We will not give any warning. We will resume the suspended industrial action immediately.
Now, still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's current account surplus rises to $5.2 billion in the second quarter of 2025. That's some business news. We join us again. Welcome back to the News at 10. We have more on Nigeria's 65th Independence Day celebration. This time, the convener of the Platform Nigeria, Pastor Poju Oyemade, once again welcomed policy experts and citizens from across the country to the October edition of the Policy Dialogue. With the theme, Rebuilding Our Nation, the event featured thought-provoking conversations on reshaping, strengthening and charting a new path forward for Nigeria.
Nigeria may be blessed.
As Nigeria marks its 65th Independence Day, Pastor of the Covenant Nation, Poju Oyemade, once again opens the doors of the Platform Nigeria, bringing together policy experts, thought leaders and citizens for a day of national reflection. Under this year's theme, Rebuilding Our Nation, the forum sparks dynamic conversations aimed at reshaping Nigeria's future, strengthening institutions and charting a clear path towards sustainable progress.
The platform serves as a prophetic function of preservation for Nigeria, bridging communities with business, government, youth, by democratizing entrepreneurial knowledge, fostering political awareness, and dissecting policies in real time to deepen democratic culture. Welcome to Platform October 1st. Right. God bless you all.
Former Green Eagles captain Segun Odegbami explores the intersection of sports and global geopolitics, highlighting how athletics can influence diplomacy and national pride.
Sport runs on strict rules and regulations, and that politics run on lies and confusion. There's a thin line of a difference between politics and geopolitics. The world is in crisis. The world needs healing. But do you observe also that in the middle of all these senseless global conflicts, the scramble for minerals and ruthless carnage all over the place, warring countries are still participating in international sports, competing against one another and fighting to win trophies and medals.
Other speakers include Chief Executive Officer of the One Campaign, Ndidi Wuneli, who delivers an inspiring call for Nigerians, especially youths, to become narrative changers who drive global trends that shape the country's story.
Must become narrative changers. And to do this, you have to change your mindsets. So tell your neighbor, change your mindsets. Things are tough, but where there are challenges, there are opportunities. Just like we see people fleeing our country, there are people flying into our country because they see opportunities that we have left on the table. So how do you change your narratives? How do you change your mindset? First, you reflect on the power of your words and your thoughts. What is the root cause of those words and thoughts? Where did Nigeria hurt you? Acknowledge the failings of the country. They are failings. I'm not going to lie about them. But balance them with the realities of our time.
Meanwhile, founder of ALDA Consulting, Leke ALDA, examines the anatomy of the nation, breaking down the critical steps necessary to secure Nigeria's stability and ensure future growth.
There's no justice in the land. Rule of law must replace law of rule. The country must be strong on policing, especially crimes that batter the image of the nation and deprive the masses of welfare. Needless to say, there's a need for police reform. I'm not talking about changing of police uniform. There's a need for a strategic revamp of the image of the country. A passport ought to enhance the citizens, not subtract from them on international borders. You can't build a nation without values. It is a contradiction in terms. There's a need to revamp the educational curriculum in schools in response to present challenges.
Year after year, the Platform Nigeria stands as a beacon for critical discourse, a space where ideas flourish, dreams for a stronger nation are nurtured, and youths are empowered to lead.
Which should not stop.
And staying with the platform, speakers at the event also examined how Nigeria's system of government has shaped national life, while encouraging citizens to adopt a positive mindset and take decisive steps towards rebuilding a stronger and more prosperous nation.
The halls of Covenant Nation in Igomun, Lagos are buzzing with energy.
as the 2025 Independence Day edition of the Platform Nigeria kicks off. Themed Rebuilding Our Nation, the event draws a vibrant audience, political and religious leaders, media executives, business professionals, students and youth from across the country. Facilitators from across the continent take the stage, sharing insight and shaping Nigeria's future. Despite Nigeria's abundant human and natural resources, much work remains to fully implement economic reform, according to Afrexim Bank Chief Economist Yemi Kale.
The central question is not whether Nigeria has potential, we clearly do, but whether we can build and sustain the institutional, infrastructural, and human capacity to translate that potential into tangible progress. The government must clearly communicate what it's doing and why. People are more likely to endure hardship if they understand the necessity and see a credible plan.
Governance expert Joe Abba then tackles constitutional reform, emphasizing the lasting impact of Nigeria's current constitution. Rejecting piecemeal amendments, he advocates for a new constitution inspired by the 1963 framework, ensuring a stronger democratic foundation.
We need to enact a new constitution that mirrors the arrangements in the 1963 constitution, where we have powerful regions and a small center. But the gods recommend that we do that with the 6 geopolitical zones. But can't we do it with constitutional amendments? My answer is no. You need a new constitution.
Sharing her personal journey from conflict to leadership, the first female president of Kosovo underscores the role of democracy in national success.
One key component of the success of the country is the health of its democracy. We need to work actively in bringing citizens closer to decision-making, thus truly creating functioning democracies. Achieving all this requires a joint effort, requires active participation at all levels of our societies, including women in the decisions, and ensuring the voices of all communities and underrepresented groups are taken into account.
Beyond commemorating freedom from colonial rule, speakers converge on one central message: a better Nigeria is possible, but it requires collective effort, visionary leadership, and unity amongst all Nigerians.
And that's it from the nation's capital. It's now back to Ayo for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you so much, Victoria. Power Oil, Nigeria's trusted heart-friendly cooking oil, has once again rolled out the drums in promoting healthy living through its annual Walk Heart On event, which drew over 5,000 participants. According to Roland Akpe, marketing manager, oil portfolio of Tolaram Group, the Power Oil Walk Heart On has been a decade-long movement dedicated to promoting customers' healthy lifestyles. This year's edition, held in commemoration of World Heart Day 2025, focused on raising awareness about cardiovascular health and overall well-being.
Well-rounded healthy living depends on how one takes care of the heart. And in commemoration of this year's World Heart Day, Power Oil is once again out to create that important awareness amongst Nigerians, with over 5,000 participants in attendance. For over a decade, the brand has touched millions of lives, which have drawn tens of thousands into fitness-led community bonding every year, such as this event.
All of our activities over the years, for the last 13 years of our existence, has always been skewed to driving heart health awareness. This speaks to the sort of food you eat, is it healthy? Speaks to the sort of lifestyle you live, is it one that satisfies you fit? That's who we are.
After the exercise, they embark on a 7-kilometer walk, which takes attendees through several roads in Surulere, Lagos. Power Oil say the walk is its way of promoting heart health in Nigeria, while celebrating a decade of impactful wellness initiatives that have reached millions across the country to champion an improved lifestyle and demonstrate how it puts the well-being of its consumers first. This important health-friendly walk eventually culminates at the Stable Sports Ground in Bode Thomas Street in Surulere, where it all began.
Power
we should continue doing this because people get to work out and explore and get their body fit. If I saw old people, I was very impressed.
We urge them to keep it going. You can see different caliber of people, you understand. You don't even know your class. Everybody are here, mingling together. Our size being in a sportsmanship, you understand. So everybody's happy.
To ensure that heart health awareness continues to grow, to ensure that people continue to take an active interest in the sort of meals they cook. That is, incorporating healthy components into your food, like power oil.
Alongside these bold moments, Power Oil introduced the Certified Healthy Seal and the rallying call, Be Certified Fit, inspiring Nigerians to combine smart eating with joyful movements. The health-friendly brand has proven once again that it's not just oil, it's a promise of well-being and a healthy heart.
President Bola Tinubu has unveiled the renovated National Theatre, which in 2024 was renamed Wole Soyinka Theatre of Culture and Creative Arts. The restoration, which was led by the Bankers Committee in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Art, Culture, Tourism and the Creative Economy and the Lagos State Government, has been applauded by the President as the beginning of more active days for the creative economy with empowerment for the nation's youth.
The renovation of this, the banker committees have found it necessary to reward the entire continent. The world gathered there, Africa gathered there for Festa 77. The entire continent was bubbling. Nigeria was a proud nation. Tonight, let me take this opportunity to say one thing that is very, very important to me, to you, and as government, and Nigeria in diaspora. That is, stop talking about Nigeria in a negative tone.
President Bola Tinubu. Now let's get the latest from the world of business with Will Ibo.
Thank you, Ayotunde. A bit of good news. Nigeria has recorded a current account surplus of $5.28 billion in the second quarter of 2025, and that's nearly doubling the $2.85 billion posted in the first quarter. And this underscores stronger external sector performance and improved foreign exchange inflows. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, in an update published on its website, also revealed that gross external reserves climbed to $43.05 billion as of September the 11th, providing import cover of 8.28 months for about over 8 months. Now, according to the Apex Bank, the surplus reflects the impact of sustained exchange rate stability, a firm monetary policy stance, and lower petroleum product prices, which together have boosted Nigeria's balance of payments outlook. Nigeria's crude prices declined at the start of the week as OPEC Plus signaled the modest production boost for November, and northern Iraq resumed oil exports, heightening fears of oversupply despite elevated global prices. Now, Bonny Light, that's Nigeria's key crude grade, traded around $69 per barrel during the sharp drop. Now, market reports indicate that the 8 OPEC Plus members that had voluntarily cut production may announce their next output increase for November, coinciding with the restart of crude flows from northern Iraq over the weekend. Now we check on the global markets, starting with Nigeria's markets, which is closed for the Independence Day holiday. But we see, meanwhile, in the U.S., we see S&P 500, hitting a new record high after reversing losses. And we saw that after the U.S. shut down the government, and traders are betting on a short-lived shutdown. But let's see how the numbers perform today and those of other major equities now. And that's business news. Is back to Ayotine for the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Will. Simon Pusey is up next with our international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The US federal government has shut down after Republican and Democratic lawmakers failed to resolve a budget standoff. The impasse affects the funding of government operations through October and beyond, and is poised to cause widespread disruption for Americans in areas ranging from air travel to student loans to zoo and museum closures. The political gridlock is also expected to put 40% of the federal workforce, around 750,000 people, on unpaid leave. Donald Trump has threatened a wave of sackings in response.
We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like. So they're taking a risk by having a shutdown because of the shutdown, we can do things medically and other ways, including benefits. We can cut large numbers of people out. We don't want to do that, but we don't want fraud, waste, and abuse.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody here, heartfelt welcome to Copenhagen, a heartfelt welcome to Danish industry.
EU leaders are meeting in Copenhagen under pressure to boost European defence after a series of Russian incursions into EU airspace and days after drones targeted Danish airports. The incursions have become most acute for countries on the EU's eastern flank, such as Poland and Estonia. A number of member states have already backed plans for a multi-layered drone wall to quickly detect, then track and destroy Russian drones. At least 69 people have been killed and dozens more injured after a powerful 6.9 magnitude earthquake struck the central Philippines. The province of Cebu, which suffered the brunt of the damage, declared a state of calamity early on Wednesday after thousands spent the night on the streets amid repeated aftershocks. The earthquake comes barely more than a week after the country was hit by back-to-back typhoons, which killed more than 20 people. Part of a 17-story residential building in the Bronx area of New York has collapsed in what the fire department is calling a major emergency. Aerial footage from the scene shows a massive vertical scar on the side of the building with a huge pile of rubble on the ground. The New York Fire Department says that operations are ongoing and no injuries have been reported. Kenyan police have offered a reward of 1 million shillings or $7,700 for information leading to the arrest of a suspected serial killer. It's been more than a year since Collins Jumaisi Kulasha escaped from custody. Kulasha was the prime suspect in the murder of more than 40 women whose mutilated bodies were discovered in a disused quarry that became a dump site in the capital Nairobi. Shortly after his arrest, he escaped from custody along with 12 others after reportedly cutting through a wire mesh roof and scaling a perimeter wall.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You are found guilty as charged.
South African opposition politician Julius Malema has been found guilty of illegal possession of a gun and firing it in public, offences which carry a minimum sentence of 15 years in prison. In 2018, a video emerged showing the economic freedom fighters' leader using a semi-automatic rifle to fire several shots in the air during his party's 5th anniversary celebrations. He was charged alongside his former bodyguard, who was acquitted.
We live here highly determined. We are going to fight this up until the Constitutional Court. We are coming on the 23rd of January for sentencing, and after sentencing, we will immediately put an appeal so that we can go to the higher court because we think a judgment is faulty.
20th Century Fox presents...
And 20th Century Studios and Disney have confirmed that The Simpsons will return for a sequel movie 20 years after the original.
Dad, it's not fair to use a bug zapper to catch the fish.
The poster for the new film, shared on various social media platforms, shows a donut being grabbed alongside the tagline, "Homer's coming back for seconds."
President Schwarzenegger.
That is me.
Springfield has reached crisis levels.
Based on Fox's popular and long-running animated sitcom, which follows the lives of Homer, Marge and their 3 children, Bart, Lisa and Maggie, the as-yet untitled sequel is set to be released on the 23rd of July, 2027.
This is the worst day of my life.
The worst day of your life so far.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. In the UEFA Champions League, Karabakh became the first Azerbaijani side to record back-to-back wins as they beat FC Copenhagen 2-0, while Newcastle defeated Union Saint-Gilloise 4-0. Elsewhere, Eric Dier's cool last-minute penalty and a draw for Monaco against Manchester City. Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka were both on target as Arsenal beat Olympiacos 2-0 at the Emirates Stadium. In the other matches, Gonzalo Ramos scored an injury-time winner as PSG beat Barcelona 2-1 in a meeting of 2 favourites. Dutch side PSV came from behind to earn a 1-1 draw with Bayern Leverkusen. Borussia Dortmund maintained their unbeaten start to the season with a hard-fought 4-1 win over Atletico Club. On loan, Manchester United striker Rasmus Højlund scored twice as Napoli defeated Sporting to secure their first win of the season. Villarreal also played a 2-2 draw against Serie A giant Juventus.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu today told Nigerians that yesterday's pains are giving way to relief as the nation celebrates 65 years of independence. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. And do have a good night and happy Independence, Nigeria.